Right now on Morning News Now, pressure and pushback. This morning, President Biden trying to restore confidence in his bid for re-election and move past that disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump.
I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
Well, this as speculation grows over whether Vice President Kamala Harris will step in as the Democratic nominee. We have team coverage. Developing news, scenes of devastation unfolding in two different ways. This morning, Hurricane Beryl leaving a path of destruction across the Caribbean as it takes aim at the Mexico-Texas border. While in California, crews fighting against high temperatures and strong winds as they try to contain several fires. And across the country, more than 100 million people are under heat alerts this morning. We're tracking those conditions. Also, a new era on 10 Downing Street. Breaking this morning, voters in the UK electing a new prime minister. This is signaling a seismic shift in power after 14 years of conservative rule there. We'll take you to London for the landslide victory and what it means for Britain and beyond. And get your popcorn ready. That is right. It is Friday, and that means several new things to watch, from the newest installment of a family favorite to the return of one of Eddie Murphy's most beloved characters. We'll run through everything you can't miss on this 4th of July weekend. We begin this morning with a series of public tests for President Biden as he tries to reassure voters and Democrats who are worried about his age that he's still the right person for the job. It's ongoing fallout from the shaky debate performance 1 week ago. The president is set to ramp up campaigning this month in a busy schedule that will see him visit every battleground state, and that starts with Wisconsin today. And then later this evening, he'll sit down for his first televised interview since that widely criticized debate. It comes after President Biden said he was not going anywhere during a 4th of July event yesterday. That's despite a growing number of lawmakers raising doubts and expressing concerns about his candidacy. The latest on those lawmakers in a moment from NBC News congressional correspondent Julie Sirkin. But first, let's check in with NBC News White House correspondent Ali Rafa. Ali, good morning to you. So a busy schedule already lined up for President Biden. Talk to us about his plan to campaign this month, including that trip to Wisconsin that's already coming today. What are we expecting there?
Yeah, Stephen, good morning. There's going to be a massive spotlight on President Biden today as he heads to Madison, Wisconsin for a rally. And remember, this is a state he narrowly won over former President Trump in 2020. The Biden campaign this morning is releasing a bit of a preview of his remarks, saying that the president, while in Madison today, will, quote, underscore the stakes of this election for our democracy, our rights and freedoms, and our economy. The campaign today also announcing this new all hands on deck effort, trying to get the president, the first lady, the vice president, the second gentleman out in front of the American public in every single battleground state during the month of July to really highlight the administration's accomplishments over their first term. And Stephen, all of this is part of this massive effort by the Biden team to try to clean up the damage that was done from the president's poor debate performance last week, trying to restore lost confidence and dispel these concerns, these growing concerns about the president's ability to stay in this race and potentially serve a second term. So I think the big questions and the big things to watch moving forward today and through the weekend is whether the president can really handle this extra pressure, handle this extra attention, or whether that extra attention inevitably makes him, in some cases, have another misstep. Really, the president cannot afford to have one of those over the next couple of days, Stephen.
Yeah, it's the Friday after a holiday, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching that interview. And we're also, Ali, getting new details about that meeting that the president had on Wednesday, trying to reassure Democratic governors. The president reportedly was suggesting to them that he might just cut down on his events in the evening and try to get more sleep. Has that been reassuring for Democrats to hear? What else do we know about that?
Yeah, we're hearing from several sources familiar with the conversation during this private meeting the president had with over 20 Democratic governors on Thursday night. And they're telling NBC that the president said that he would like more rest. And he suggested one way to do that is to limit events that go past 8 p.m. And now it seems some of these governors took that more seriously than others. One governor that is downplaying those remarks and saying that the president made them more in jest, more as a joke, is California Governor Gavin Newsom, who talked about this yesterday. Listen here.
It's more of a rhetorical framework of just being fit and rested, because he was burning at both ends that last 10 or so days. And I think that was sort of what he was reflecting, is just a more steady focus on being his energetic self. So it wasn't a literal 8 o'clock, I will be doing things differently. It was more figurative.
Now, even though Newsom is downplaying these remarks, several Democrats are saying that this just isn't the right time to be making jokes like that, just a poorly timed comment. And the Biden campaign, for its part, is putting out a new statement in which it says President Bush went to bed at 9. President Obama made dinner at 6:30. They say normal presidents strike a balance, and so does Joe Biden, Stephen.
All right, we'll see if he is asked about that in the interview this evening. Ali Rafa, thanks so much. And NBC News congressional correspondent Julie Sirkin, she joins us now for more on how congressional Democrats are reacting to all of this a week after that disastrous debate. Julie, good morning to you. So over the past few days, we know 2 House Democrats have publicly called on President Biden to drop out of the race. But what are we hearing from the Senate? Are we hearing anything from senators?
Good morning, Stephen. Yeah, we're definitely hearing concerns from senators. They're more private. Of course, we haven't heard any Senate Democrats come out and flat out call on President Biden to step aside. But we did have some conversations, myself included, with some Senate Democrats behind the scenes who did express concerns, who talked to President Biden as well this week, who urged him to go out there and talk to the American people and encourage them that he is the guy, he is the candidate for their party that can beat former President Trump in November at the ballot box. That is really the main concern for Democrats within the House and the Senate. Remember, these are people who respect Biden. They appreciate and respect the job he did as president. So this is really a painful moment for them, watching the debate and watching the days since, but certainly nothing like we saw from the House with those 2 lawmakers coming out publicly calling on Biden to step aside. But I assume we could see an uptick in that in the coming days.
All right, certainly something to watch there. And Julie, we were talking about that TV interview, but that is not all the president's doing today. We also have this event in Wisconsin. Is that seen as a way that he could possibly change some minds?
Well, that is definitely something that lawmakers are looking at, right? I had a number of conversations with Democratic lawmakers who said this weekend really is going to be that litmus test, whether that debate performance from Biden was something to be expected, was status quo moving forward, or whether that was an anomaly. My colleagues and I have fresh reporting overnight, Stephen, that indicates that there is concern that in previous meetings that lawmakers have had with Biden and previous experiences that he has been slow, he has been tired, that debate performance was perhaps below his baseline, but certainly not something that they haven't experienced and seen before. And so Biden going into this event tonight, going into his campaign events this weekend, and certainly that TV interview that one lawmaker put to me is between a live debate and a telepromptered event, is going to be something that they are watching. But really here, especially as they get ahead of getting back to town next week and facing questions from us, they really want to see Biden shine on the stage all of this weekend when he's talking to American people.
And Julia, speaking of House members getting back there in recess right now, so they're not really talking face to face, what are you expecting when they do get back next week?
Well, certainly they are expecting myself and my colleagues to pepper them with questions because they really had this recess to be able to not face us, right? We've obviously used the phones and tried to get them as we could, but certainly when they're in person, they're going to be meeting with their colleagues, they're going to be talking face to face, and they're really going to be coming to terms with what this moment means for their party, where just a couple of months out of a very crucial election, they aren't sure if the person at the top of their ticket is going to hurt their own races. Remember, there's a lot of lawmakers in vulnerable positions this November. That is certainly something they're keeping a close eye on. But also, most importantly, they don't know if Biden at this point is the right person to lead their party. And I expect when they are back in person, they're going to be meeting face to face and coming to terms with that a little bit more closely.
Yeah, those down ticket concerns, definitely something to watch out for. Pepper away with those questions, Julie. There's so much concern here right now. We appreciate it. All right, let's turn now to the war in Gaza. There's been a breakthrough in ceasefire hostage release talks between Israel and Hamas. That's according to a senior Biden administration official. President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talked about those details for this potential deal in a phone call just yesterday. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from Tel Aviv with more on this. So, Matt, walk us through what we're hearing about this possible deal and just how significant could a so-called breakthrough be here? And do we know what are the sticking points left?
Well, look, I mean, as far as the significance goes, it would be huge. Not only would it free the remaining hostages, supposedly, it would bring some measure of much-needed peace to the Gaza Strip, where just yesterday, health authorities who are run by Hamas in the Gaza Strip said that, this death toll has passed 38,000. So this breakthrough is much needed on all sides. But at the same time, I heard this morning from two Israeli officials who said that this isn't a breakthrough, that this is the beginning of a process of negotiations that could take weeks or months. And they said that, that we should be tempering our optimism despite what we're hearing from Washington. So I got to say, Stephen, this is a process that has been going on time and time again, just about every couple of weeks, ever since the last successful round of negotiations back in November led to a one-week pause and the release of about half of those hostages who were held in the Gaza Strip. So this is a situation that really could go either way, but we do need to listen to both sides. We're hearing from Washington that this is a breakthrough. We're hearing from the Israelis that it isn't. Regardless, we're not going to see this solved within the next probably several weeks. Stephen?
Even disagreement, I guess, on the definition of a breakthrough, Matt. So even with these ceasefire talks, Israel not appearing to show any signs of slowing down on the assault on Gaza, both from the air and on the ground. What's the latest on the attacks?
That's right. Well, we're hearing Israelis' attacks on really the whole area of the Gaza Strip still. And this is while we're hearing about these negotiations. So that's what's interesting. Benjamin Netanyahu said he's sending the Mossad chief, David Barnea, to Doha to do these negotiations while Israel continues their assault on the Gaza Strip, particularly in the areas of Khan Yunis and the area of Shuja'iyya, where there has been a lot of fighting over the past couple of days, and further south in Rafah and other areas. And this is something, again, that is ongoing, and we're still hearing a lot of fighting from the Gaza Strip.
And Matt, it's not just the fighting there. We're also watching these developments on the Israel-Lebanon border with the ongoing conflict with Hezbollah. There's reporting that Hamas officials actually met with the leader with Hezbollah today. So what's going on there?
Yeah, and Stephen, one of the main topics that we heard from Reuters that these two were discussing, and these are both Iran-backed groups, Hamas and Hezbollah, one of the main topics is the status of those ceasefire negotiations, because we are seeing an uptick in the violence over Israel's border with Hezbollah. It started earlier this week when the Israelis assassinated a senior Hezbollah commander in the southern Lebanese city of Tyre. That elicited about 200 different projectiles fired by Hezbollah over the Lebanese border into Israel and about 20 drones. So a fearsome attack, probably one of the largest barrages of missiles and projectiles ever since this war began back on October 7th. And it was responded by the Israelis in kind. So we're seeing a massive set of, back and forth. And so for the people in northern Israel and southern Lebanon, for Hezbollah and for the IDF, this negotiation, these rounds of negotiations, if they are a breakthrough and if they do end up creating, like I said, some measure of peace in the Gaza Strip, that would also go a very, very long way toward calming that violence on the northern border with Israel and Lebanon. And it could help avert a wider, region-wide war. Stephen?
A lot of ifs. We know you'll stay on top of it. Matt Bradley, thanks so much. All right, back here in the U.S., the heat is on. Tens of millions of Americans are under heat alerts today. It's all part of the dangerous heat wave that officials say won't be cooling off anytime soon. And the record-breaking temperatures are making it even tougher to fight wildfires, which are raging out west, particularly in California, where people were forced to evacuate their homes are now battling those extreme temperatures as high as 118 degrees in some areas. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is live in Houston with the latest on this extreme weather. Priscilla, Houston, one of the many places under excessive heat alerts. What's the weather like right now? Humidity, obviously a big concern in Houston. What are the other areas we're seeing these temperatures?
Yeah, Stephen, I know that you know this Houston heat very well. It is incredibly hot here. I have a feeling pools like this one are going to be in very high demand today. Already it's 80 degrees. It's expected to climb into the 90s before the end of the day. But when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel more like 105 degrees. Meanwhile, along the Texas coast, you've got folks who are dealing with the heat and also bracing for a potential hurricane. And also across the Pacific Northwest to Arizona, we're talking about more than 50 cities that could potentially reach record highs today. California also expected to see some all-time highs. So certainly a lot of heat both in the south and out west. Stephen?
Priscilla, any chance of relief inside? How long are these temperatures supposed to last?
Yeah, unfortunately, this could potentially be a historic stretch, especially out west. The National Weather Service is calling this a prolonged extreme heat event out west with the potential for 12 days of extreme heat. That is the longest stretch we have seen in nearly 2 decades.
And speaking of out west, California officials have a lot of concerns right now. We know firefighters are working around the clock to battle those fires. Any idea how they've been able to contain them so far?
Yeah, well, this is definitely hampering the efforts to contain that 3,500-acre fire just north of Sacramento. And meanwhile, you've also got some of the interior valleys out in California expected to approach up to 120 degrees, parts of that state seeing triple digits. And of course, there's also the potential for what this means for human life. Already in San Jose, a homeless man died. The mayor writing, quote, "This was an avoidable tragedy." So lots of concern for the fire and also for people's health as they're dealing with this prolonged heat. Stephen?
And Priscilla, the biggest risks that officials are worried about as people are heading outside, it's a holiday weekend, many people have to work outside. What are you hearing from officials about those concerns?
Yeah, you've got all of that, and we know how much strain heat can put on the body, and so there's concerns about dehydration. Folks need to make sure that they're drinking lots of water. There's also concern for heart attacks. That's something else that can happen with the extreme heat. Burns and rashes. Make sure you're wearing that sunscreen. Heat stress, cramps, exhaustion, illness, and also the increased risk of injury because your body is already under strain being in that heat. So it's really important when you're out in temperatures like this to pay attention to your body and just make sure that you are drinking a lot of water. Stephen?
Great advice. And Priscilla, quickly here, I want to ask, as you mentioned, I lived and worked in Houston for 5 years. I'm from Texas. How much are Houstonians complaining? They're a hardy group.
They are a hardy group. There's not a lot of complaints yet, but I would encourage you to check back in with us in August, where I think we'll be over it.
Yes. Okay. That sounds good. Yeah. It usually reaches that fever pitch around August. Priscilla, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Well, while several states battle that heat, people along the Gulf Coast, they are watching out for Hurricane Beryl. The storm, now a strong Category 2, is charging toward Mexico and southern Texas and lashing the Cayman Islands and Jamaica as well. It's responsible for at least 9 deaths. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock, who is tracking the storm from Jamaica, spoke to people there about the life-altering impact.
Hurricane Beryl continuing its tear through the Caribbean. Now, just past Grand Cayman, the massive storm shaking trees and churning waves. This video taken by NOAA inside the hurricane this week, revealing the storm's power. Hurricane Beryl battering Jamaica, where officials already confirmed 2 deaths in the country, both victims in their 20s, leaving the nation reeling.
Waking up this morning to all of this is like, it's overwhelming.
On Treasure Beach, a popular seaside oasis, Jamaican officials tell us the devastation is widespread.
Homes damaged, health centers, churches lost their roofs completely.
Just the ride to get out here features trees carving up roadways, power lines in every direction, and obliterated homes.
Homes blown, you're saying the roofs blown
everywhere. The roofs are, yeah.
All of it leading to this.
It's hard to describe the magnitude of the loss here, but here's an example. This is a hotel with 100+ staff members that is one business on one stretch of street on Treasure Beach.
And it's not just big business feeling the pain.
What do you feel emotionally when you look at your business?
I feel so devastated.
Herman Maxim runs P&H Fruit Stand right in front of the home that he shares with Padrona Morris, which is practically uninhabitable now.
Were you scared at some point that you might not survive?
Yes, I was praying out loud. I was calling to Jesus, asking him to calm the storm.
Jamaicans feeling the pain of a hurricane that didn't even make landfall, but is likely to disrupt their lives for months.
How long do you think it will take to get back to where you were?
To where we were. That's a hard one.
A lot of hard questions there. Thanks to Sam Brock for that report. Well, our severe weather track continues with meteorologist Michelle Grossman taking a look at Beryl and much more. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Stephen. Great to see you. And yeah, we continue to be very, very busy. And Beryl continues to overachieve a dangerous storm. Over the past 24 hours, teetering between Category 3, Category 2. Right now, it is a Category 2 storm with 110 miles per hour. That's very strong. It only needs 111 to become a major hurricane once again. And we're looking at the movement northwest at 15 miles per hour. So it does continue to move quickly. That is the good news. The location 5 miles northeast of Tulum, Mexico. You can see it impacting the Yucatan Peninsula right now. And we're looking at heavy rains, rough surf, dangerous surf, some really heavy rainfall, 4 to 6 inches, could see higher amounts locally. And we do have tropical alerts dotting the Yucatan Peninsula. We have hurricane warnings, hurricane watches, tropical storm warnings, and tropical storm watches as it's going to move across the Yucatan Peninsula over the next several hours. And then we do expect it to weaken because it's going to interact with the land of the Yucatan Peninsula. It's going to go across the Gulf. So entering the Gulf Saturday, 12 a.m. as a tropical storm. We expect it to stay a tropical storm for some time, but then we do expect it to re-strengthen to a Category 1 storm because the waters of the Gulf are very warm. Now, notice this cone of concern. Since the last update, it's starting to nudge a little bit further to the north. So what does that mean? Well, now we're expecting a landfall in southern Texas, so right on the border of northeastern Mexico, southern Texas. Either way, we're looking at the chance for heavy rain in southern Texas, dangerous waves, also some really high surf, and we're going to watch that very closely because now we're talking about early Monday morning where we're going to see that landfall. We're still a couple days out where we could expect to see any impacts there. So heat alerts will be another story. We're looking at over 100 million under heat alerts. That's along the west. We have kind of two heat stories here. In the west, it's a dry heat, but it's prolonged. It's day after day. We're not getting the relief at night to kind of recool or rejuvenate your body. So we're looking at those alerts from the northwest all the way down to the southwest, record highs too. And then as you look along the Gulf into the south central states, the southeast, into the Carolinas, parts of the mid-Atlantic, that's when we're talking about heat and humidity. And that's really hard for the body to cool off when we have those humidity levels very high. And we're going to be in the territory of feeling like 110 in some spots. So notice that jet stream, it's dipped to the south in the middle of the country, so nice and cooler there. But to the west, also to the east, it's so high to the north, it's allowing that cool, warmer air to come in. It's kind of shutting off the cooler air from Canada. So we're looking at Portland, 23 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. Triple digits there, 118 in Redding, 113 in Las Vegas. That is tough heat. Again, staying warm at night, so we're not getting that rest and recovery. Then off to the west, we're talking about the humidity. Raleigh, off to the east, Raleigh, 102, feeling more like 111. It's going to feel like 95 in New York City. We're staying put with the heat tomorrow and really through next week. Medford tomorrow, 113. That's 25 degrees above normal. 114 in Las Vegas, also in Phoenix. And look at these numbers, Stephen, as we go throughout Tuesday, we're talking about still 118 in Las Vegas. So this is tough. We're going to continue to watch the heat. We're going to continue to watch Beryl as well. And then we have some storms to talk about that. We'll do that next hour. Back to you.
Oh, that is rough, that 118, Michelle. Thanks so much for that update. It is. Oh. Cannot imagine. Well, much more to come this morning on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a high-end merger. Saks Fifth Avenue buying Neiman Marcus in a multi-billion-dollar deal. We'll break down the plan to combine those luxury retailers. Up first, after the break, change begins now. Breaking this morning, Britain's new prime minister speaking out after a landslide win. We'll take you to London as the UK ushers in a brand new era. That's happening on 10 Downing Street. We'll be right back with more from there. Welcome back. This morning, Keir Starmer is Britain's new prime minister after his Labour Party won the election by a landslide. The result was a crushing defeat for the ruling Conservative Party, which had been in power for 14 years. The fallout, their party saw several high-profile figures and a former prime minister lose their seats. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us from outside 10 Downing Street, where Mr. Starmer will soon be moving in there. Raf?
That's right, Stephen. Good morning. The transfer of power is underway right now at a temporarily sunny Downing Street after last night's historic election. The Conservative Party going down to a crushing defeat. We just in the last hour or so saw their outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak leaving through that famous black door for the last time as a new government and a new leader takes charge. This morning, Britain has a new Prime Minister.
We did it! We said we would end the chaos, and we will. We said we would turn the page, and we have. Change begins now.
Keir Starmer's Progressive Labour Party winning last night's election in a landslide, their biggest majority since Tony Blair won in 1997. Starmer defeating Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservatives, who have led Britain for the last 14 years, including through Brexit, and are now reeling from their worst loss in 2 centuries.
I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss.
Starmer, a strong supporter of NATO and Ukraine, is now the leader of America's closest ally. His politics and policy closely compatible with President Biden, but could be at odds with Donald Trump if he wins in November.
I think Keir Starmer will stand up for what he believes in. When it comes to foreign policy, our support for NATO is the cornerstone of that.
Starmer grew up in a working-class family, but was knighted by then Prince Charles in 2014. His formal title is Sir Keir, and he'll be the first knight to lead Britain in 60 years.
But I think he feels a bit embarrassed by it because it takes people away from the message he's actually trying to say, that he's actually an ordinary person.
An unlikely knight now stepping up to lead his country. And, Stephen, literally in the last 30 seconds or so, Keir Starmer, the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has arrived here at the Downing Street complex. We are expecting potentially any moment he will come out the door of 10 Downing Street. You can see there's a podium there set up for him to address his nation for the first time as its leader. And later on today, we are expecting him to have that first phone call with President Biden, that traditional phone call between the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of the UK, such close allies on the world stage. We know that Keir Starmer has spoken to Jake Sullivan a couple of times over the last year, but he is now the leader of this country, and that phone call coming up later today will be with President Biden. Steve.
Wow, and just like that, I'm always so impressed with how fast the transfer of power is when there's a new prime minister in the UK. Raf, thanks so much for that. Well, as Americans travel for the summer holidays, China is courting more international tourists with fewer visa requirements and more frequent flights to get there. But once these visitors actually show up in China, many are facing some unexpected hidden challenges. CNBC's Eunice Yoon explains.
So you want to see Beijing's iconic Forbidden City on your once-in-a-lifetime vacation to China? Sorry, tickets are now only released online and usually sell out within seconds. Most visitors and travel agents book on a Chinese app that requires a Chinese mobile number. I tried booking for friends visiting China as tourists 3 days in a row, but so far could only get 3 tickets for a party of 7. So I'm going to try now for a 4th time. China's status as a travel destination is being tarnished by China-centric systems, largely separated from the rest of the world, thanks to heightened national security controls, a drive to support local tech, protectionism, and a financial system slow to reform. Since the pandemic, when foreigners stayed away due to China's COVID controls, international credit cards have been dropped by many businesses here, even in traditional tourist spots. Officially, you can pay in cash. In practice, it's often not accepted. Instead, businesses rely on Chinese mobile payments, by Tencent's WeChat and Ant's Alipay, or local cards. Taxis are almost impossible to hail on the street. No Uber here, only Didi. Didi, Tencent, and Ant all say you can set up an account with an international mobile number and international credit or debit card. But a litany of complaints on social media say registration is often time-consuming or the services don't work at all. Not only is it hard to catch ground transport, but if you want to take the subway officially, you have to bring your passport to buy a ticket. Many hotels have also stopped taking foreign guests, enough that the government issued an edict in May to accept them. Not quite a welcome back. It's worth remembering that the number of international travelers in and out of China is still just a third of pre-pandemic levels. That could help to explain the focus on the booming domestic market. Back to you.
All right, Eunice, thanks for that report. Well, some more international news now. Polls opened in Iran today for a second round of a closely fought presidential election. Claudio Lavanga joins us now with that and more. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. That's right. Iranians go back to the polls on Friday for the runoff of the presidential elections after the former president Ibrahim Raisi died following a sudden helicopter crash last May. Well, now the two contenders after the first round of voting last week are Masoud Pezeshkian, who recently criticized Iran's morality police for their crackdown on women not wearing headscarves, and who promised to end Iran's isolation from the rest of the world. The other one is Saeed Jalili, a former nuclear negotiator who is known for his hardline anti-Western stance. Let's go now to Taiwan, where the Defense Ministry reported renewed military activity from China. The ministry said that early on Friday morning it detected 26 Chinese military aircraft carrying out what it called Joint Combat Readiness Patrol with Chinese warships in the north, center and southern parts of Taiwan. So China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, has stepped up pressure militarily and politically, especially after the recent election of the independent Lai Ching-te as the island's president. And let's end this tour of the world in Ecuador, where police said they freed 49 people who had been kidnapped by a criminal gang. Ecuadorian police say that members of the powerful gang Los Lobos, the Wolves in English, were responsible for the kidnapping, and they released a video that shows the moment heavily armed officers entered what appeared to be a tunnel of a mine in the Azuay province in the south of the country. Now, Ecuador has seen a surge in violence and kidnappings in recent years. Back to you, Stephen.
All right, Claudia, we'll let you answer that call. Thanks so much for those important updates. Well, coming up, we have a pretty exciting behind-the-scenes look of a beloved 4th of July tradition. We'll show you what goes into that dazzling display of fireworks that lit up the night sky in New York City last night and kept me awake way longer than I should have been. It also happens every Independence Day, so you're going to want to hear how it goes. And a World War II relic desperately in need of repairs, the new efforts to keep a piece of history afloat. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Every year, the Macy's 4th of July fireworks show turns the New York City skyline red, white, and blue. It's one of the most famous fireworks displays in the country. And luckily for us, NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung got an explosive behind-the-scenes look at how it all comes to life.
Here in the middle of the California desert,
3, 2, 1, fire.
The Souza family is testing out some of the newest, most high-tech fireworks in the world.
Oh my wow.
Preparing for their biggest show of the year, the iconic Macy's 4th of July fireworks show.
How complicated is it to produce something of the magnitude of the Macy's 4th of July show?
I think that one of the themes that we say is bigger and better than ever. And I think it pushes us, and it pushes us to search the world to find the best fireworks.
Brothers Jim and Gary Souza run Pyro Spectaculars by Souza.
It started over 100 years ago with our great-grandfather.
Once you smell the powder and you get the powder in your blood, it never leaves.
Is this dinner table talk at your family?
Well, it always has been, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
We got a sneak peek at their desert testing site.
Souza standard?
Yeah, that's it.
Showcasing fireworks that explode into an incredible 8 different colors.
Oh, beautiful.
And drones with their own fireworks attached.
It'll be the very first time that's ever happened in the United States.
Each firework is handmade. These colorful balls of powder strategically placed inside the shell to explode in a magical display.
This is a mock-up of one of the shells we'll see go off.
This will make a double crossing ring with red stars.
Encore.
When you hear the crowd roar, you know you did it. And that provides the inspiration for next year.
Kaylee Hartung, NBC News.
Wow, so complicated. Kaylee, thanks for that report. Well, a ship that made more than a dozen wartime voyages during World War II now serves as a floating museum in Baltimore's Canton Marine Terminal. Volunteers work hard to keep the SS John W. Brown operating and running smoothly, but they're asking for some help now to preserve this part of history. Brianna Ross with our Baltimore affiliate WBAL got on board that ship to show us why.
Stepping on board the SS John W. Brown is like stepping onto a piece of history.
The John W. Brown is a World War II Liberty ship. It's one of the largest class of ships ever built. It was built right here in Baltimore at the old Bethlehem Fairfield Yard.
The Liberty ships were mass-produced cargo ships used to carry everything from supplies to eventually troops during World War II. Most of the Liberty ships were built right here in Baltimore, and now one of the only two remaining Liberty ships that still operates sits right here in Baltimore.
It's a museum ship, but we look at it as it's a living history memorial to the merchant mariners who labored, behind the scenes. They were kind of unsung heroes that got all the material to all the parts of the world.
Today, volunteers like Dick Stern take pride in showing people this living history, from the most critical parts of the ship,
looking at the bridge and telling him where to steer,
to the areas those on board use every day.
This is the ship's galley.
To museum rooms filled with information and artifacts.
That's actually the wheel off of it.
But it takes a lot of work and money to keep the ship up and running.
Every 5 years, we have to go to a dry dock to maintain our Coast Guard certification. This time, it's going to cost probably pushing $1.25 million.
That money helps cover repairs and other expenses associated with the trip to the dry dock in Norfolk. A government grant and donations are helping to cover the costs. Volunteers with the John W. Brown say they still need financial help for the trip and to keep the ship alive.
We are surviving on the generosity, basically, of our supporters, and we really, really appreciate it. But we just needed to keep going.
So that people continue to have the opportunity to step onto a piece of history.
Nobody wants to see a part of history die.
Our thanks to Brianna Ross for that report. And coming up, a major merger involving two rival luxury retailers, the multi-billion-dollar acquisition and what it signals for high-end shopping. And she is making hockey history. We'll introduce you to the first woman assistant coach in the NHL. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Let's get to some money news this morning. The parent company of luxury department store Saks Fifth Avenue is making its own high-end purchase. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other financial headlines. Good morning, Silvana.
Hey, Stephen, good morning and happy Friday to you. So the parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue is buying rival Neiman Marcus as the high-end retailers try to navigate through some slowing demand and rising competition from fast fashion brands. HBC is buying Neiman, which owns its namesake department stores and Bergdorf Goodman, for roughly $2.6 billion. Amazon will hold a minority stake in the combined companies and will work with Saks on logistics and personalization technology. Meanwhile, a pair of buyout firms are reportedly raising their takeover offer for Macy's to just under $7 billion. The Wall Street Journal says Arkhouse Management and Brigade Capital would be buying shares of the department store they don't already own. Macy's ended a board fight with those firms in April by adding two of their nominees to the board. In May, Macy's reported sales fell in the first quarter, but less than Wall Street expected. And a hacker got access to OpenAI's internal messaging system last year and stole details about the company's technology. The New York Times reports the hacker lifted the information from an online forum, but didn't get into the systems where OpenAI, that's the maker of ChatGPT, houses and builds its AI. Now, the company told employees and the board about the breach, but decided not to share the news publicly, as no information about customers or partners was stolen. It also didn't believe the breach was a national security threat, Stephen.
All right, I'm still curious what this is going to do to the prices at Saks, and we'll have to wait to see more about. Not that I shop there,
we'll see, exactly.
Just in case.
just in case, we see something we like.
There you go. You never know. All right, Silvana, thanks so much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Stephen.
All right, now to a trailblazer who beat the odds, overcoming adversity to succeed on Wall Street and in the arts. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas spoke to Lulu Wang about how she achieved her American dream and then is now using that to inspire others.
Lulu C. Wang stands just over 5 feet tall, but don't be fooled. She's a powerhouse, both on Wall Street and on Fifth Avenue, where she has 6 galleries at the Met.
I think art has incredible power, and I think art reminds us that we are all human beings, and when you see a beautifully made piece of art, whether it's from wood or from canvas, you're reminded of the human effort behind it, and we all have that in us. And to support it and work together on it, admire it together, really does bring us together.
Lulu, this is beautiful. Tell me about it.
It's so outstanding because the incredible voluptuousness of the curves in the back and the C curves in the arm supports.
Hope you're enjoying the American Wing.
Wang is almost 80, but life for her isn't always as it is now. One of 4 daughters, Wang immigrated to the United States with her family when she was just 4 years old amid the Chinese Communist Revolution.
We just started from scratch. We left everything behind, and we only had our family and our dream of a life together.
Not knowing a word of English, Lulu quickly found her way.
And one little girl came up to me and she said something, and I had no idea. I knew one word, what? And I found out later on, she was asking me, where's the waste paper basket?
Wang says she not only adapted to her new home, but she fell in love with America. After graduating from Wellesley College, she married her childhood sweetheart and had a son. But it was while she was a stay-at-home mom that she had a realization.
I thought Wall Street was an interesting place to go. It was a place to ask why.
This was the late 70s, a time when very few women were even working on Wall Street, let alone leading it.
I never really thought of myself as just a woman or just a Chinese person. I really thought I was Lulu, and Lulu wanted to learn. Lulu wanted to succeed.
And succeed she did. Wang went back to school and earned an MBA from Columbia Business School and even opened her own hedge fund.
Do you consider yourself a trailblazer?
I suppose you might say I was a trailblazer on Wall Street. People always said, well, it's been a hard area for women to get traction. And again, since I never really thought of myself as just a woman, I was an individual who really had a vision of what my firm should be.
After her financial success, it was her love of collecting that brought her to the Met.
And there are 2 things that make this very New York. One is that very blocky, talon down style, very strong. And then the front, the serpentine front with the gadrooning. That is very typical New York. A very strong. I'm always setting off the alarms.
But it's yours, so you're allowed.
It is. I'm home, I can touch it.
For Lulu, the Met is a place that is a daily reminder of her American dream journey.
This painting captures so much of what I've always admired in the American spirit. And what I think what draws immigrants to America, that there is a sense of courage and standing for the right things in life.
Amid a time when the country is divided, she hopes her story inspires others.
I really feel if you start life with a positive attitude and you find yourself in a situation like in America where everything is possible, then you can be the best you can. And when you have found success, to begin to give it back to others. It's so important to achieve something, but it's far more important to be able to share with others. And this is what makes America great.
What a touching story. Our thanks to Chloe Malas for that report. And speaking of women blazing a trail, Jessica Campbell is now making history in the NHL. She's the first full-time women assistant coach in the league. That's after she was hired by the Seattle Kraken. Reporter Connor Board from our NBC affiliate in Seattle met with Campbell to discuss how she feels about this game-changing moment.
I'm super excited about that.
New leadership has arrived for the Seattle Kraken. Bob Woods and Jessica Campbell are joining the bench squad. Not only is assistant coach Jessica Campbell new to the Kraken,
it's been a great day. It's been exciting. I'm just kind of taking it all in and still not settled.
She's the first ever full-time female assistant coach to work behind the bench in the NHL.
I think it's really important to recognize just how it's going to hopefully transform the landscape and allow different people and different organizations, and Seattle's a special one. This is a really special place.
She says she does not feel like the first because of how many other women work in the NHL in different capacities.
I've had many great colleagues, other women that are on this list of women behind me and with me and above me, and that we're all, you know, sharing our love for the game and doing it in different levels.
She has worked in player development for years and was even spotted with the Kraken during Tuesday's practice. We asked her if another playoff run could be in the future after falling short this year.
There's a lot of skill, there's a lot of depth, and I think that the team is going to be hungry to get back to that same spot and potentially achieve more.
She played professionally in Canada and Sweden before coaching. In the past 5 years, she has had her eye on the NHL, but she has already coached NHL players.
Just definitely building on the relationships of the younger guys, Ty Karche and Riker Evans, and even Joey, and I've coached Grubauer before in Germany.
She hopes when young Kraken fans see her behind the bench at games, they know they can do anything they believe in, because she says she may be the first woman, but hopes to not be the last.
Believe it even if you don't see it, because it is possible. And I hope that this has proved that it's possible, and I'm excited to be able to meet the young kids along the way and be an example for them to chase the dreams, however big or bold they are, to anyone, and whether they're in sport or not.
Our thanks to Connor Board for that report. Campbell was also asked if a day will soon come when a woman is a head coach in the NHL. Her response, anything is possible. Well, coming up, if it's Friday, you know we've got our can't miss list on deck. It's the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment for your weekend. After the break, how the critics are reacting to one of the summer's biggest movie releases, Despicable Me 4. Does it actually live up to the hype? We'll dig into that and all the other content you just can't miss. That's next. And finally this hour, it's time for your can't miss list. A look at all the movies and shows you just can't miss this holiday weekend. And joining us now on set to help us with this can't miss list is NBC News New York digital reporter Kay Ingram. Thanks so much for being here, Kay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yes, it's Friday. It's always brighter when you're here. We know that there's a lot going on in the world of movies, especially for children. We've got Despicable Me. Is it 4? Yes.
It is Despicable
I think
Me 4.
I lost count now.
Well, I wouldn't blame you if you did. It's been 14 years.
Wow, has it? 14
It has
years.
been. And I love that you mentioned the kids, because also I feel like we have to take a moment for the inner kids.
Oh, yeah.
Those of us who have grown up with the Despicable Me franchise. And so it is back. Gru and his gang, you know, the incredible motley minions, they are back. We also see some new faces, or voices, I should say.
Right.
Will Ferrell, he's playing a villain. He's in his villain era.
Perfect.
And so he's going to be in it. Kristen Wiig, we've got Miranda Cosgrove, she's back. You've also got Stephen Colbert, and then, of course, Steve Carell, right? He's playing Gru. So he's back, and it's going to be a great, great movie that's already sparking up fireworks, as you mentioned, this July 4th weekend.
Right, yes, star-studded. No kidding there. And speaking of stars, we got to talk about Eddie Murphy coming back to that iconic role, 30 years after he played Alex Foley in Beverly Hills Cop? Cannot believe this one.
I mean, look, well, Despicable Me, right? That's the box office heavy hitter.
Right.
Expected to make $120 million.
Oh,
but
geez.
with this one on Netflix, I can tell you it's touting that it's the #1 streamed comedy right now on Netflix, to be exact, which is wild, the #1 of all of Netflix. So like you said, Eddie Murphy is back. It's been 30 years since we've had Beverly Hills Cop, and he is returned. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. If you grew up with the franchise, it is the 4th one, so it's a big deal. And it's, you know, again, 40 years since it started. And also, we've got Taylor Page, who's playing his daughter. You've got his real daughter in it. And then, get this, Stephen, the director of it, who is known, Australian director of typically like commercials, which this is a big debut for him, I would say, to be doing this. He chose to make sure there was no CGI in this film. So they had to shut down an interstate as they had a car roll off the side of a parking lot, not to give away the movie, but
that's incredible.
He's starting out big. Yeah.
No CGI. That makes me want to see it right there alone. So that we're talking about a sequel there, but it's not just a sequel. We also got a spin-off to talk about. This one is Down in the Valley. That's a docuseries Based on this popular series, are we going to get to see the real people behind?
Valley, we are. Look, if you don't know, you are about to know about Valley. It is an incredible show on Stars that's really acclaimed. I mean, multiple NAACP Image Awards. The representation is phenomenal. The culture, the music, the storylines, it's fabulous. The way it's shot, I mean, when this first came out, my jaw dropped. And so now, for those who are either fans of the show or maybe you're just now learning about the show, just as you mentioned, we are going down to Louisiana to meet the folks who truly are the, real people who live there in Louisiana, in the Mississippi Delta, I should say.
I love it. Even more compelling. I love real life. You can't beat it.
Yes.
I love that. Also, this one caught my eye. It's called Space Cadet. It's on Prime. It sort of looks like maybe like a Legally Blonde in space, which could go either way. Is this actually worth streaming?
It is definitely worth streaming, and if you're gonna do it, it's gonna be on Amazon, and you've got Emma Roberts there, who is the Space Cadet, and a little backstory on her. There goes the bestie, who is the one who submitted a resume for her, beefing it up just a little bit. I'm winking because there was a lot of lies potentially in there. Anything for the bestie. Emma Roberts, her character, has always wanted to be an astronaut, and so she submits that resume. She gets accepted for this astronaut training program, and you already know where this is going.
Yeah.
You already know.
Okay, that would actually, I can see myself streaming that. I also love Legally Blonde. Too bad Reese Witherspoon's not in this, but yeah, Emma Roberts, I love her too.
Yes, living out her childhood dreams.
Of course, yeah, love that. Also, Pride Month is over, but we're also talking a little bit more about the Critics' Choice celebration for LGBTQ plus cinema. Only have like 10 seconds here. What can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, you need to watch it because it's the first one, and you can do that on what's this? Here TV. Here TV. You can watch it on Here TV. It's a must-watch. A lot of folks are being honored, and it's incredible that it's the first of many.
Very nice. Okay, Kay, thanks so much, and that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Your news continues right now. Good Friday morning. I'm Stephen Romo in for Joe and Savannah. And right now on Morning News Now, summer swelter. Many of those 4th of July celebrations dampened by Mother Nature as widespread heat alerts plagued more than 100 million Americans this morning. Those soaring temperatures also now slowing efforts to contain a massive wildfire in Northern California. We've got team coverage and, of course, your holiday weekend forecast in just a moment. President under pressure, a defiant President Biden assuring America he's still the right person for the job in the face of growing calls for him to abandon his re-election campaign.
You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere.
The critical test Mr. Biden faces today as he gears up for a pivotal rally in battleground Wisconsin. Renewed hope for a ceasefire deal in the Middle East this morning. More on the new phone call between President Biden and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that could be a key step toward a possible end to the violence and the release of those remaining Israeli hostages. And the 4th might be in our rearview mirrors, but that holiday travel rush, it continues. We've got some top tips on how you can get back from wherever you celebrated safe and sound. And we start this hour with the dangerous heat wave that is baking huge parts of the U.S. Tens of millions are under heat alerts today, with dozens of cities on track to set new heat records. While in California, the record heat is making it even tougher to fight wildfires that have burned more than 140,000 acres so far. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is tracking this extreme weather for us from Houston, where it's also hot. Priscilla, good morning.
Yeah, Stephen, good morning. Right now it is in the 80s here in Houston. It's going to creep up into the 90s before the end of the day. And when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel more like 105 degrees. Meanwhile, South Texas along the coast is also dealing with heat while bracing for a potential hurricane.
This morning, as Hurricane Beryl continues its destructive path, folks in South Texas are preparing, keeping an eye on the track of the storm as it nears Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula and threatens to come ashore on the U.S. mainland, too.
We remove all the stuff off the dock that's loose or might be blown away.
The Southwest, like the rest of the country, already dealing with extreme weather. more than 125 million Americans under heat alerts.
It has been sweltering.
This weekend, from the Pacific Northwest to Arizona, more than 50 cities could break record highs, as parts of California could set all-time records. The scorching heat also hampering efforts to contain the 3,500-acre Thompson fire north of Sacramento.
We're in the 110, so that takes a huge toll on firefighters working when it's this hot.
In San Jose, the heat wave is being blamed on the death of a homeless person. The mayor writing, "This was an avoidable tragedy." Health experts say extreme heat poses a variety of risks to the body, including heart attacks.
You tend to get dehydrated, and there are other factors that are related to heat that put more stress on the body.
In Northern California, some cities canceling 4th of July fireworks shows and parades.
It's just too dangerously hot.
In the southeast, the humidity driving heat index values as high as 112 degrees. As Americans head into the weekend, feeling the holiday heat wave.
And that is especially true out west, where the National Weather Service is warning of a prolonged extreme heat event expected to last 12 days. That would be the longest stretch in nearly 2 decades. Stephen?
Oof, we need some relief there. All right, Priscilla Thompson, thank you so much. Yeah. Let's bring in meteorologist Michelle Grossman for a check on your holiday weekend forecast. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Stephen. So much to talk about. We were talking about that extreme heat that Priscilla just talked about. Also, Hurricane Beryl, now still a Category 2 storm, and also tracking some rain over the weekend. So still the holiday weekend, still want to have some fun outside. And on Saturday, we're looking at a lot of green on the map here with the chance for showers, even some storms in spots. So as we look a little bit closer, we're looking at that rain along the East Coast from New England to the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, the Southeast, stretching all the way back to the South Central states. Showers return to the Northern Plains, parts of the Central Plains and parts of the upper Midwest. And then it's all about that record heat in the West. We're looking at temperatures well above normal for this time of year, record temperatures, and that's going to last through early next week as well. As we look towards Sunday, staying hot in the West, we have that fire danger continuing with all that hot weather, also really dry conditions in the Southwest. Then we're looking at the chance for some strong thunderstorms, some heavy rainfall in the Central Plains, and still soggy from parts of the Mid-Atlantic to the Carolinas into the Southeast and also the Gulf Coast states. That could put a little damper on some of your travel back on Sunday, one of the busiest days of the year to travel back. We're looking at possible delays from Minneapolis, Chicago, Kansas City, Denver, Houston, and along the Carolinas as well, Charlotte down to the Southeast Carolina, Atlanta, Orlando, and also Miami. Let's talk about those heat alerts, because we're looking at heat alerts stretching from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to the Southwest. This would be more inland as opposed to the coast. Again, temperatures well above normal. And then the South Central states, the Southwest, we are looking at temperatures well above normal also, but you factor in the humidity, and that makes it really difficult to cool off. That includes parts of the Mid-Atlantic as well. Here is the setup. We're looking at triple digits in Portland, Redding, 118 in Redding, Las Vegas, 113. That's 8 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. Tucson, we're looking at 109. And then as we look off to the east, New York City today, the daytime high of 88 degrees. You factor in that high humidity, it will feel like the mid-90s, feeling like 111 today. In Raleigh, it's going to feel like 105 in Jacksonville. So you want to be sure to hydrate, stay indoors and air conditioning if you can during those peak hours. If you don't have air conditioning, find those cooling centers. And the heat continues tomorrow in the West. We're looking at temperatures once again soaring into the triple digits, well above normal. Look at Medford, 25 degrees above what is expected for this time of year. They're going to top out right around 113 tomorrow, 110 in Sacramento, and 114 in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, part of the story is it's prolonged. We're not getting the relief at night, and we're looking at those temperatures into the triple digits through Tuesday. Las Vegas, 117 on Sunday, Monday, 117, Tuesday, 118. So that's the heat story. Then we're concerned about Beryl as well. Still a very strong storm, a Category 2 storm. Lost a little of its oomph as it's going over the Yucatan Peninsula as expected. Winds at 100 miles per hour. It's moving quickly to the northwest at 15 miles per hour. We have tropical alerts dotting the Yucatan Peninsula, hurricane warnings for Cozumel Isabel, a hurricane watch for Cancun, and then we have tropical storm warnings as well. This will cross the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is very warm right now, so we're going to see it increase. We'll see it weaken to a tropical storm and then quickly increase once again, strengthen to a Category 1 storm. Notice this line here. If you've been paying attention, this is starting to nudge a little bit north, and that's what we're seeing the trend doing. So right now we're seeing that landfall anywhere on the Mexican-U.S. border. Stephen, it might have a landfall in southern Texas. We're going to watch this over the next few days. Either way, we're looking at heavy rainfall, really rough surf, and some damaging winds as well. Back to you.
I know a lot of people in Texas were hoping that it would shift south. Looks like it's doing the opposite here, Michelle. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that update. All right, now to presidential politics. President Biden is heading to Wisconsin today as he tries to revive his re-election campaign. His candidacy has faced a week of doubts now after last week's shaky debate performance. The president is vowing to stay in the race despite calls from some Democrats to drop out. NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from Washington with more on this. It's been more than a week now, Kelly, of all these discussions.
It certainly has, and this is an intense period for the president. It is a time of both opportunity and risk. Each public appearance is a chance to demonstrate his capability, to build on his record, and to argue the stakes of the election. But at the same time, that risk is there, and any misstep or bobbled word draws attention. Carrying on a summer celebration with his campaign facing crisis. A renewed pledge from President Biden that he's staying in the race.
You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere.
And that means today is no ordinary day for the president, heading to Wisconsin for a very public test, a rally and a high-stakes on-camera interview. New this morning, the campaign announcing an aggressive travel schedule and $50 million paid media blitz. Biden allies say today's events are a critical step.
He's got to show it. He's got to get out there, show the sustained strength, and take it on head on.
After the debate that shook his candidacy, any public appearance by the president is drawing scrutiny, including this radio interview airing yesterday.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud of the first black woman in the Supreme Court.
The campaign responded to coverage, calling it absurd, saying it's abundantly clear the president was talking about his record of running mates and appointments, his party, campaign, and White House under pressure. In a meeting with Democratic governors, two sources familiar with the exchange say Mr. Biden said he was seen by his doctor. But earlier that day, his team had said this.
He did not get checked out by the doctor.
And later corrected that he did have a brief exam. California Governor Gavin Newsom said the president told them he needs to prioritize his sleep.
It wasn't a literal at 8 o'clock I will be doing things differently. It was more figurative.
Many governors expressing their support after the meeting. But NBC News reporting this morning that some Democrats say the president's debate performance was not an anomaly. One Democratic senator who declined to speak publicly said the country saw what those of us who have had personal interactions with him have all known for the last 2.5 years. Other Democrats say they remain concerned.
We need a reset. We need a course correction. We've got to acknowledge that this was not just one bad night.
And donors are another key group to watch. Congressman Don Beyer, who hosted a fundraiser after the debate, told me the president appeared strong and donors he spoke with left feeling better about his performance. Meanwhile, Democratic donor and Disney heiress Abigail Disney told CNBC she is withholding contributions unless or until they replace Mr. Biden on the ticket. Stephen?
All right, the scrutiny continues. Kelly O'Donnell, thanks so much. All right, and turning now to the Middle East, there's been a breakthrough in Gaza ceasefire hostage release talks. That's according to a senior Biden administration official. And it comes as Israeli forces step up ground and air attacks on the devastated Palestinian enclave. NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us from Tel Aviv on this so-called breakthrough. Matt.
Yeah, Stephen, so even as Hamas continues those negotiations, there are actually signs that their power over the Gaza Strip could be weakening.
The Biden administration is calling it a breakthrough. After nearly 9 months of war, U.S. officials say Hamas has softened its position. bringing them closer to a deal that could see the remaining hostages released and bring a measure of peace to the Gaza Strip. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu telling President Biden last night Israel will send negotiators to a fresh round of talks in Qatar. A senior administration official said Americans Hirsch Goldberg-Paulin and Keith Siegel could be among the hostages released in the agreement's first phase. A hostage deal could also solve another vexing problem, the worsening war in Israel's north. Hezbollah, an Iran-backed group based in southern Lebanon, said it fired 200 rockets at northern Israel yesterday, calling it retaliation for Israel's killing of a top Hezbollah commander a day earlier. But even as Hamas negotiates on Gazans' behalf, there are growing signs it's losing their support. This woman has just seen the body of her slain son, killed in an Israeli bombardment. I hope that God will destroy you, Hamas, like you destroyed our children, she yells. Dissent against Hamas's rule was once rare in the Gaza Strip, and it's still risky. But frustration is overflowing. This man, covered in blood, speaks to a stunned crowd. We have a filthy leadership, he said. They got used to our bloodshed. For many here, this is Hamas's war, and the Gazan people are their weapons. We refuse to continue the war over our kids and women's bodies, said this opposition activist in Gaza. Today, Hamas has taken us 70 years back.
And Stephen, despite all that optimism from Washington that we've been hearing, 2 Israeli officials told me this morning that we should temper our optimism, that this is not a breakthrough. It's actually the beginning of a process that could last for several weeks. Stephen?
All right, more to come there. Matt, thanks so much. Well, with the hot holiday weekend now in full swing, nearly millions of Americans are heading to the beach to try to beat the heat. But there are risks, from deadly rip currents to a startling wave of shark attacks. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us from along Chicago's Lake Michigan. Maggie, I know there are no sharks there, but there are plenty of other things we got to watch out for.
I know. Yeah, there are plenty of hazards that we're talking about this morning, Stephen. And this place, no surprise, has been packed all week with more big crowds expected into the holiday weekend. But from America's Great Lakes to the ocean surf, experts this weekend are warning swimmers beware.
This holiday weekend, hit the beach at your own risk. Among the top concerns, a slew of recent shark attacks. This stunning cell phone video appears to show a shark swimming back and forth just feet from shore along South Padre Island, Texas, Thursday, with the Department of Public Safety helicopter spotting one from above. This moments after authorities say multiple swimmers were attacked, among them Ashley Silva.
I just feel like this pressure, like someone punched me or like someone pushed the back of my leg. And I just turned around and it's a shark.
Another beachgoer hospitalized with severe leg injuries.
We do not know the species. We do not know the reason why this happened. It's unprecedented here on South Padre Island.
Meanwhile, in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, a man from Ohio bitten on the foot yesterday in knee-deep water. Some studies showing shark attacks, while still rare, have been on the rise in recent years. Just last month, former pro surfer Tamayo Perry was killed by a shark in Hawaii. Lifeguards advising everyone to be on alert. Expert tips to avoid sharks: swim in groups. Avoid the water at dusk or dawn when sharks are most active. And if you do happen to encounter a shark, keep your movements slow and steady to avoid looking like prey. The shark headlines coming as tens of millions are expected to swarm America's beaches this holiday weekend. Officials warning swimmers to also watch out for rip currents, fast-moving strips of water that can suddenly pull swimmers out to sea.
If you get caught in a rip current, the most important thing is to relax, stay calm, don't panic.
Another concern, contamination. Authorities in 10 states closing or posting advisories at roughly 100 beaches with high levels of bacteria, warning exposure can cause gastrointestinal illness and skin infections. Hidden hazards lurking beneath the surface as Americans celebrate the holiday weekend in the water.
Fun beach day. Adding to the list of concerns, by the way, there is also a nationwide lifeguard shortage that officials say is affecting public pools, public beaches, basically coast to coast. So experts advise if you find yourself at a spot where there is a shortage of lifeguards, they say definitely play it safe, sort of swim close to the shore or swim in the shallow end, and also read and heed any signs about possible hazards at that beach or in that pool. And then finally, Stephen, they say good old-fashioned advice, definitely just stay hydrated, drink your water, maybe play it safe with the beachside cocktails. That's advice for friends. That's not me, just for for other people.
Same
I'll
here.
send it back to you.
That does not apply to us, Maggie Vespa. I know it's a holiday weekend.
other
Play
people.
safe. Know before you go. A lot of great info there. We appreciate it. Well, this weekend, as we've just been talking about, ramping up to be a major holiday travel rush as well. And you'll want to brace yourself and expect lines and crowds, whether you're heading to the airport or hitting the road. In fact, AAA is forecasting that 6 million more people traveled for the 4th of July holiday this year compared to pre-pandemic numbers. And the travel surge is not predicted to hit its peak until Sunday. NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar is live in the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport with more on this. So, Priya, how is it looking there in Atlanta, and what exactly is the TSA telling folks to be ready for?
Hey, Stephen. Yeah, we're in the world's busiest airport, and things are quite busy right now. TSA is projecting that 28 million people will be passing through checkpoints during that extended 10-day holiday travel period, but they're expecting that peak surge to happen on Sunday with 3 million people passing through the airports on Sunday alone. And American Airlines, get this, is saying that Sunday is actually expected to be their busiest travel day of the entire summer, Stephen.
And Priya, I know Atlanta pretty much is always busy, but do we know which U.S. airports in particular are expected to be the busiest?
Yeah, absolutely. So rounding out the top three this particular week are Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, and here in Atlanta. And, if you've been to an airport recently, this number probably won't surprise you so much. But 12 of the 15 busiest travel days ever recorded by the TSA have happened since mid-May. So if you're planning on heading to an airport, one thing you can expect is lines, and more lines. So be sure to get here early and pack some snacks. And also, as we love to say, pack your patience as you're navigating to your gate, Stephen.
I do not really like the phrase pack your patience, but I love the phrase pack those snacks. That is excellent advice. And speaking of heading out to the airports, how are the cancellations and the delays looking? There are usually a lot that seem to pop up around holidays. And has anything really been done to try to improve things and keep that on schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so far there's only been 100 delays today across the country. So today things are looking pretty good. Throughout the week, there have been anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 delays. But the TSA says, hey, listen, we were prepared for this huge surge in holiday travelers. So they were actually sending out agents to other airports across the country that weren't necessarily accustomed to this high volume of passenger travel. And they really have some ambitious goals to try to get people through those lines quickly. They try to get everyone through those TSA checkpoints within 30 minutes for regular passengers and within 10 minutes if you do have TSA pre-check. But it's always a good idea to check your flight status before you head to the airport to make sure that your plane isn't delayed or canceled. I will say that the exception to the delays and cancellations has been people flying to and from Jamaica because of Hurricane Beryl. They did shut down the airports in both Kingston and Montego Bay as a result of that hurricane, Stephen.
Yeah, even more complications there. And Priya, I feel like I know a lot more people who are hitting the road instead of actually flying. What do they need to know before they try to head back?
Absolutely. Well, AAA projected that 70 million Americans would be traveling 50 miles or more away from home during this July 4th travel period. And the overwhelming majority of them, 60 million, were going to be traveling by car. And, some of the reasons for that is the price at the pump right now is much lower than it was at this time last year. And they're actually forecasting that those prices are going to continue to drop. And those numbers are also going up as far as people traveling on road trips because more people are working from home. So the flexibility of those remote schedules is allowing people to kind of take some time off and hit the road. So if you're planning on driving, Sunday, just as it is here in the airport, is expected to be one of the busiest days on the road, Stephen.
And Priya, I know you're a travel expert, travel a lot. You mentioned those snacks. That's a key detail there. What are the other travel tips you can give people to try to make their return just as smooth as possible?
Yeah, you never want to be hangry when you're traveling, right? Well, another thing that the TSA administrator says is to make sure you thoroughly inspect your luggage, especially carry-on luggage. They don't want you to get to one of those TSA checkpoints and you have something in there that you're not allowed to have. Actually, the TSA administrator said that just this year there have been almost 3,000 guns that have been confiscated at this TSA checkpoint, and that number is expected to surpass the number that they confiscated last year. And you can have pretty severe penalties if you're caught with a gun at a checkpoint. It can range anywhere from $1,500 if the gun is unloaded all the way to $15,000. And the overwhelming majority of the guns that they're confiscating are in fact loaded. So just an important tip, especially if you take those carry-on bags to other places, like a gun range or a beach, to really thoroughly inspect them before you get to the airport, Stephen.
Yeah, really surprising numbers there. Great information, Priya. Thank you so much. And there is much more to come this hour of Morning News Now. Later in the hour, we'll take you behind the boom, so to speak, an inside look into preparing for America's largest fireworks show right here in New York City. But first, overnight, a dramatic changing of the guard in Britain this morning. A new left-leaning prime minister taking the reins after the Conservative Party suffered the worst defeat in modern times. What it all means for the future of the UK, that's next. Welcome back. This morning, Keir Starmer is Britain's new prime minister after his Labour Party won the election by a landslide. The result was a crushing defeat for the ruling Conservative Party, which had been in power for 14 years. The fallout, their party saw several high-profile figures and a former prime minister lose their seats. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us from outside 10 Downing Street, where Mr. Starmer will soon be moving in there. Raf?
That's right, Stephen. Good morning. The transfer of power is underway right now at a temporarily sunny Downing Street after last night's historic election. The Conservative Party going down to a crushing defeat. We just in the last hour or so saw their outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak leaving through that famous black door for the last time as a new government and a new leader takes charge.
This morning, Britain has a new prime minister.
We did it! We said we would end the chaos, and we will. We said we would turn the page, and we have. Change begins now.
Keir Starmer's Progressive Labour Party winning last night's election in a landslide, their biggest majority since Tony Blair won in 1997. Starmer defeating Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservatives, who have led Britain for the last 14 years, including through Brexit, and are now reeling from their worst loss in 2 centuries.
I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss.
Starmer, a strong supporter of NATO and Ukraine, is now the leader of America's closest ally. His politics and policy closely compatible with President Biden, but could be at odds with Donald Trump if he wins in November.
I think Keir Starmer will stand up for what he believes in. When it comes to foreign policy, our support for NATO is the cornerstone of that.
Starmer grew up in a working-class family, but was knighted by then Prince Charles in 2014. His formal title is Sir Keir, and he'll be the first knight to lead Britain in 60 years.
But I think he feels a bit embarrassed by it because it takes people away from the message he's actually trying to say, that he's actually an ordinary person.
An unlikely knight now stepping up to lead his country.
And, Stephen, literally in the last 30 seconds or so, Keir Starmer, the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has arrived here at the Downing Street complex. We are expecting potentially any moment he will come out the door of 10 Downing Street. You can see there's a podium there set up for him to address his nation for the first time as its leader. And later on today, We are expecting him to have that first phone call with President Biden, that traditional phone call between the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of the UK, such close allies on the world stage. We know that Keir Starmer has spoken to Jake Sullivan a couple of times over the last year, but he is now the leader of this country, and that phone call coming up later today will be with President Biden. Steve.
Wow, and just like that, I'm always so impressed with how fast the transfer of power is when there's a new prime minister in the UK. Raph, thanks so much for that. Well, as Americans travel for the summer holidays, China is courting more international tourists with fewer visa requirements and more frequent flights to get there. But once these visitors actually show up in China, many are facing some unexpected hidden challenges. CNBC's Eunice Yoon explains.
So you want to see Beijing's iconic Forbidden City on your once-in-a-lifetime vacation to China? Sorry, tickets are now only released online and usually sell out within seconds. Most visitors and travel agents book on a Chinese app that requires a Chinese mobile number. I tried booking for friends visiting China as tourists 3 days in a row, but so far could only get 3 tickets for a party of 7. So I'm going to try now for a 4th time. China's status as a travel destination is being tarnished by China-centric systems, largely separated from the rest of the world, thanks to heightened national security controls, a drive to support local tech, protectionism, and a financial system slow to reform. Since the pandemic, when foreigners stayed away due to China's COVID controls, international credit cards have been dropped by many businesses here, even in traditional tourist spots. Officially, you can pay in cash. In practice, it's often not accepted. Instead, businesses rely on Chinese mobile payments by Tencent's WeChat and Ant's Alipay or local cards. Taxis are almost impossible to hail on the street. No Uber here, only Didi. Didi, Tencent, and Ant all say you can set up an account with an international mobile number and international credit or debit card. But a litany of complaints on social media say registration is often time-consuming or the services don't work at all. Not only is it hard to catch ground transport, but if you want to take the subway officially, you have to bring your passport to buy a ticket. Many hotels have also stopped taking foreign guests, enough that the government issued an edict in May to accept them. Not quite a welcome back. It's worth remembering that the number of international travelers in and out of China is still just a third of pre-pandemic levels. That could help to explain the focus on the booming domestic market. Back to you.
All right, Eunice, thanks for that report. Well, some more international news now. Polls opened in Iran today for a second round of a closely fought presidential election. Claudio Lavanga joins us now with that and more. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. That's right. Iranians go back to the polls on Friday for the runoff for the presidential elections after the former president Ibrahim Raisi died following a sudden helicopter crash last May. Well, now the two contenders after the first round of voting last week are Masoud Pezeshkian, who recently criticized Iran's morality police for their crackdown on women not wearing headscarves, and who promised to end Iran's isolation from the rest of the world. The other one is Saeed Jalili, a former nuclear negotiator who is known for his hardline anti-Western stance. Let's go now to Taiwan, where the Defense Ministry reported renewed military activity from China. The ministry said that early on Friday morning it detected 26 Chinese military aircraft carrying out what it called a joint combat readiness patrol with Chinese warships in the north, center, and southern parts of Taiwan. So China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, has stepped up pressure militarily and politically, especially after the recent election of the independent Lai Ching-te as the island's president. And let's end this tour of the world in Ecuador, where police said they freed 49 people who had been kidnapped by a criminal gang. Ecuadorian police say that members of the powerful gang Los Lobos, the Wolves in English, were responsible for the kidnapping, and they released a video that shows the moment heavily armed officers entered what appeared to be a tunnel of a mine in the Azuay province in the south of the country. Now, Ecuador has seen a surge in violence and kidnappings in recent years. Back to you, Stephen.
All right, Claudia, we'll let you answer that call. Thanks so much for those important updates. Well, coming up, we have a pretty exciting behind-the-scenes look of a beloved 4th of July tradition. We'll show you what goes into that dazzling display of fireworks that lit up the night sky in New York City last night and kept me awake way longer than I should have been. It also happens every Independence Day, so you're going to want to hear how it goes. And a World War II relic desperately in need of repairs, the new efforts to keep a piece of history afloat. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Every year, the Macy's 4th of July fireworks show turns the New York City skyline red, white, and blue. It's one of the most famous fireworks displays in the country. And luckily for us, NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung got an explosive behind-the-scenes look at how it all comes to life.
Here in the middle of the California desert,
3, 2, 1, fire.
The Souza family is testing out some of the newest, most high-tech fireworks in the world.
Oh my wow.
Preparing for their biggest show of the year, the iconic Macy's 4th of July fireworks show.
How complicated is it to produce something of the magnitude of the Macy's 4th of July show?
I think that one of the themes that we say is bigger and better than ever. And I think it pushes us, and it pushes us to search the world to find the best fireworks.
Brothers Jim and Gary Souza run Pyro Spectaculars by Souza.
It started over 100 years ago with our great-grandfather.
Once you smell the powder and you get the powder in your blood, you never leaves.
Is this dinner table talk at your family?
Well, it always has been, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
We got a sneak peek at their desert testing site.
Souza standard?
Yeah, that's it.
Showcasing fireworks that explode into an incredible 8 different colors.
Oh, beautiful.
And drones with their own fireworks attached.
It'll be the very first time that's ever happened in the United States.
Each firework is handmade. These colorful balls of powder strategically placed inside the shell to explode in a magical display.
This is a mock-up of one of the shells we'll see go off.
This will make a double crossing ring with red stars.
Encore! When you hear the crowd roar, you know you did it. And that provides the inspiration for next year.
Kaylee Hartung, NBC News.
Wow, so complicated. Kaylee, thanks for that report. Well, a ship that made more than a dozen wartime voyages during World War II now serves as a floating museum in Baltimore's Canton Marine Terminal. Volunteers work hard to keep the SS John W. Brown operating and running smoothly, but they're asking for some help now to preserve this part of history. Brianna Ross with our Baltimore affiliate WBAL got on board that ship to show us why.
Stepping on board the SS John W. Brown is like stepping onto a piece of history.
The John W. Brown is a World War II Liberty ship. It's one of the largest class of ships ever built. It was built right here in Baltimore at the old Bethlehem Fairfield Yard.
The Liberty ships were mass-produced cargo ships used to carry everything from supplies to eventually troops during World War II. Most of the Liberty ships were built right here in Baltimore. And now one of the only 2 remaining Liberty ships that still operates sits right here in Baltimore.
It's a museum ship, but we look at it as it's a living history memorial to the merchant mariners who labored, behind the scenes. They were kind of unsung heroes that got all the material to all the parts of the world.
Today, volunteers like Dick Stern take pride in showing people this living history, from the most critical parts of the ship,
looking at Bridget, telling him where to steer,
to the areas those on board used every day.
This is the ship's galley.
To museum rooms filled with information and artifacts.
That's actually the wheel off of it.
But it takes a lot of work and money to keep the ship up and running.
Every 5 years, we have to go to a dry dock to maintain our Coast Guard certification. This time, it's going to cost probably pushing $1.25 million.
That money helps cover repairs and other expenses associated with the trip to the dry dock in Norfolk. A government grant and donations are helping to cover the costs. Volunteers with the John W. Brown say they still need financial help for the trip and to keep the ship alive.
We are surviving on the generosity, basically, of our supporters, and we really, really appreciate it. But we just needed to keep going.
So that people continue to have the opportunity to step onto a piece of history.
Nobody wants to see a part of history die.
Our thanks to Brianna Ross for that report. And coming up, a major merger involving two rival luxury retailers, the multi-billion-dollar acquisition and what it signals for high-end shopping. And she is making hockey history. We'll introduce you to the first woman assistant coach in the NHL. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Let's get to some money news this morning. The parent company of luxury department store Saks Fifth Avenue is making its own high-end purchase. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other financial headlines. Good morning, Silvana.
Hey, Stephen, good morning and happy Friday to you. Yes, so the parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue is buying rival Neiman Marcus as the high-end retailers try to navigate through some slowing demand and rising competition from fast fashion brands. HBC is buying Neiman, which owns its namesake department stores and Bergdorf Goodman, for roughly $2.6 billion. Amazon will hold a minority stake in the combined companies and will work with Saks on logistics and personalization technology. Meanwhile, a pair of buyout firms are reportedly raising their takeover offer for Macy's to just under $7 billion. The Wall Street Journal says Ark House Management and Brigade Capital would be buying shares of the department store they don't already own. Macy's ended a board fight with those firms in April by adding two of their nominees to the board. In May, Macy's reported sales fell in the first quarter, but less than Wall Street expected. And a hacker got access to OpenAI's internal messaging system last year and stole details about the company's technology. The New York Times reports the hacker lifted the information from an online forum, but didn't get into the systems where OpenAI, that's the maker of ChatGPT, houses and builds its AI. Now, the company told employees and the board about the breach, but decided not to share the news publicly, as no information about customers or partners was stolen. It also didn't believe the breach was a national security threat, Stephen.
All right, I'm still curious what this is going to do to the prices at Saks, and we'll have to wait to see more about. Not that I shop there,
we'll see, exactly.
Just in case.
just in case, we see something we like.
There you go. You never know. All right, Silvana, thanks so much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Stephen.
All right, now to a trailblazer who beat the odds, overcoming adversity to succeed on Wall Street and in the arts. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas spoke to Lulu Wang about how she achieved her American dream and then is now using that to inspire others.
Lulu C. Wang stands just over 5 feet tall, but don't be fooled. She's a powerhouse, both on Wall Street and on Fifth Avenue, where she has 6 galleries at the Met.
I think art has incredible power. And I think art reminds us that we are all human beings. And when you see a beautifully made piece of art, whether it's from wood or from canvas, you're reminded of the human effort behind it. And we all have that in us. And to support it and work together on it, admire it together, really does bring us together.
Lulu, this is beautiful. Tell me about it.
It's so outstanding because the incredible voluptuousness of the curves in the back and the C curves in the arm supports.
Hope you're enjoying the American Way.
Wang is almost 80, but life for her isn't always as it is now. One of 4 daughters, Wang immigrated to the United States with her family when she was just 4 years old amid the Chinese Communist Revolution.
We just started from scratch. We left everything behind, and we only had our family and our dream of a life together.
Not knowing a word of English, Lulu quickly found her way.
And one little girl came up to me and she said something, and I had no idea. I knew one word, what? And I found out later on she was asking me, where's the waste paper basket?
Wang says she not only adapted to her new home, but she fell in love with America. After graduating from Wellesley College, she married her childhood sweetheart and had a son. But it was while she was a stay-at-home mom that she had a realization.
I thought Wall Street was an interesting place to go. It was a place to ask why.
This was the late 70s, a time when very few women were even working on Wall Street, let alone leading it.
I never really thought of myself as just a woman or just a Chinese person. I really thought I was Lulu, and Lulu wanted to learn. Lulu wanted to succeed.
And succeed she did. Wang went back to school and earned an MBA from Columbia Business School and even opened her own hedge fund.
Do you consider yourself a trailblazer?
I suppose you might say I was a trailblazer on Wall Street. People always said, well, it's been a hard area for women to get traction. And again, since I never really thought of myself as just a woman, I was an individual who really had a vision of what my firm should be.
After her financial success, it was her love of collecting that brought her to the Met.
And there are two things that make this very New York. One is that very blocky, talon down style, very strong. And then the front, the serpentine front with the gadrooning. That is very typical New York. A very strong. I'm always setting off the alarms.
But it's yours, so you're allowed.
It is. I'm home, I can touch it.
For Lulu, the Met is a place that is a daily reminder of her American dream journey.
This painting captures so much of what I've always admired in the American spirit. And what I think what draws immigrants to America, that there is a sense of courage and standing for the right things in life.
Amid a time when the country is divided, she hopes her story inspires others.
I really feel if you start life with a positive attitude and you find yourself in a situation like in America where everything is possible, then you can be the best you can. And when you have found success, to begin to give it back to others. It's so important to achieve something, but it's far more important to be able to share with others. And this is what makes America great.
What a touching story. Our thanks to Chloe Malas for that report. And speaking of women blazing a trail, Jessica Campbell is now making history in the NHL. She's the first full-time women assistant coach in the league. That's after she was hired by the Seattle Kraken. Reporter Connor Board from our NBC affiliate in Seattle met with Campbell to discuss how she feels about this game-changing moment.
I'm super excited about that.
New leadership has arrived for the Seattle Kraken. Bob Woods and Jessica Campbell are joining the bench squad. Not only is assistant coach Jessica Campbell new to the Kraken,
it's been a great day. It's been exciting. I'm just kind of taking it all in and still not settled.
She's the first ever full-time female assistant coach to work behind the bench in the NHL.
I think it's really important to recognize just how it's going to hopefully transform the landscape and allow different people and different organizations, and Seattle's a special one. This is a really special place.
She says she does not feel like the first because of how many other women work in the NHL in different capacities.
I've had many great colleagues, other women that are on this list of women behind me and with me and above me, and that we're all, sharing our love for the game and doing it in different levels.
She has worked in player development for years and was even spotted with the Kraken during Tuesday's practice. We asked her if another playoff run could be in the future after falling short this year.
There's a lot of skill, there's a lot of depth, and I think that the team is going to be hungry to get back to that same spot and potentially achieve more.
She played professionally in Canada and Sweden before coaching. In the past 5 years, she has had her eye on the NHL, but she has already coached NHL players.
Just definitely building on the relationships of the younger guys, Ty Karche and Riker Evans and even Joey, and I've coached Grubauer before in Germany.
She hopes when young Kraken fans see her behind the bench at games, they know they can do anything they believe in, because she says she may be the first woman, but hopes to not be the last.
Believe it even if you don't see it, because it is possible. And I hope that this has proved that it's possible, and I'm excited to be able to meet the young kids along the way and be an example for them to chase the dreams, however big or bold they are, to anyone, and whether they're in sport or not.
Our thanks to Connor Board for that report. Campbell was also asked if a day will soon come when a woman is a head coach in the NHL. Her response, anything is possible. Well, coming up, if it's Friday, we've got our can't miss list on deck. It's the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment for your weekend. After the break, how the critics are reacting to one of the summer's biggest movie releases, Despicable Me 4. Does it actually live up to the hype? We'll dig into that and all the other content you just can't miss. That's next. And finally this hour, it's time for your can't miss list, a look at all the movies and shows you just can't miss this holiday weekend. And joining us now on set to help us with this can't miss list is NBC News New York digital reporter Kay Ingram. Thanks so much for being here, Kay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yes, it's Friday. It's always brighter when you're here. We know that there's a lot going on in the world of movies, especially for children. We've got Despicable Me. Is it 4? Yes.
It is Despicable Me 4.
I lost count now.
Well, I wouldn't blame you if you did. It's been 14 years.
Wow, has it?
It has been.
And I love that you mentioned the kids, because also I feel like we have to take a moment for the inner kids.
Oh, yeah.
Those of us who have grown up with the Despicable Me franchise. And so it is back. Gru and his gang, you know, the incredible motley minions, they are back. We also see some new faces, or voices, I should say.
Right.
Will Ferrell, he's playing a villain. He's in his villain era.
Perfect.
And so he's going to be in it. Kristen Wiig, we've got Miranda Cosgrove, she's back. You've also got Stephen Colbert, and then, of course, Steve Carell, right?
Oh, yes.
He's playing Gru. So he's back, and it's going to be a great, great movie that's already sparking up fireworks, as you mentioned, this July 4th weekend.
Right, yes, star-studded. No kidding there. And speaking of stars, we got to talk about Eddie Murphy coming back to that iconic role, 30 years after he played Alex Foley in Beverly Hills Cop? Cannot believe this one.
I mean, look, well, Despicable Me, right? That's the box office heavy hitter.
Right.
Expected to make $120 million.
Oh,
but
geez.
with this one on Netflix, I can tell you it's touting that it's the #1 streamed comedy right now on Netflix, to be exact, which is wild, the #1 of all of Netflix. So like you said, Eddie Murphy is back. It's been 30 years since we've had Beverly Hills Cop, and he is returned. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. If you grew up with the franchise, it is the 4th one, so it's a big deal. And it's, you know, again, 40 years since it started. And also, we've got Taylor Page, who's playing his daughter. You've got his real daughter in it. And then, get this, Stephen, the director of it, who is known, Australian director of typically like commercials, which this is a big debut for him, I would say, to be doing this. He chose to make sure there was no CGI in this film. So they had to shut down an interstate as they had a car roll off the side of a parking lot, not to give away the movie, but
that's incredible.
He's starting off big. Yeah.
No CGI. That makes me want to see it right there alone. So that we're talking about a sequel there, but it's not just a sequel. We also got a spin-off to talk about. This one is Down in the Valley. That's a docuseries based on this popular series. Are we going to get to see the real people behind
Valley? That we are. Look, if you don't know, you are about to know about Valley. It is an incredible show on Stars that's really acclaimed. I mean, multiple NAACP Image Awards. The representation is phenomenal. The culture, the music, the storylines, it's fabulous. The way it's shot. I mean, when this first came out, my jaw dropped. And so now, for those who are either fans of the show, or maybe you're just now learning about the show, just as you mentioned, we are going down to Louisiana to meet the folks who truly are the, you know, real people who live there in Louisiana, in the Mississippi Delta, I should say.
I love it. Even more compelling. I love real life. You can't beat it.
Yes.
I love that. Also, this one caught my eye. It's called Space Cadet. It's on Prime. It sort of looks like maybe like a Legally Blonde in space, which could go either way. Is this actually worth streaming?
It is definitely worth streaming, and if you're gonna do it, it's gonna be on Amazon, and you've got Emma Roberts there, who is the Space Cadet, and a little backstory on her. There goes the bestie, who is the one who submitted a resume for her, beefing it up just a little bit. I'm winking because there was a lot of, you know, lies potentially in there, you know, anything for the bestie. Emma Roberts, her character, has always wanted to be an astronaut, and so she submits that resume. She gets accepted for this astronaut training program, and you already know where this is going.
Yeah.
You already know.
Okay, that would actually, I can see myself streaming that. I also love Legally Blonde. Too bad Reese Witherspoon's not in this, but yeah, Emma Roberts, I love her too.
Yes, living out her childhood dreams.
Of course, yeah, love that. Also, Pride Month is over, but we're also talking a little bit more about the Critics' Choice celebration for LGBTQ plus cinema. Only have like 10 seconds here. What can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, you need to watch it because it's the first one, and you can do that on what's this? Hey TV, Here TV.
Here TV.
You can watch it on Here TV. It's a must-watch. A lot of folks are being honored, and it's incredible that it's the first of many.
Very nice. Okay, Kay, thanks so much, and that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Your news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.